What's up, YouTube? Mark87 here. Got a deck profile. I topped the Encore Meta Weekly this weekend with Memento. And let's dive right into the deck list here. So it's pretty standard on the Memento names. You got one Mace, two Goblin, one Gaddock, three Witch, one Sleepy, one Darkblade, three Tatsu, one Akihiron, and one Combined Creation in the main deck. I'm not running Horned Dragon. I think it's a really good card. I really do. It's just it can brick you, and you already run so many bricks, or like Akihira or Gaddock's not necessarily a brick, but like he kind of is. This is a brick if you just open him, right? So I'm not on Horned Dragon right now. I do think it's a good card, and you could consider playing it. I would definitely probably rather play more Darkblade though first. So if we get into the non-ninja, oh, sorry. We also have 3 Bone Party and 3 Fusion. A few of my old deck lists, I only did 2 Fusion because it's really easy to get to Fusion. But in the new K9 meta, since Vanquish Soul K9s everywhere, Memento Fusion actually checks Lupus. So when they Azuna, and also we do so many effects from hand or graveyard. I mean, Tatsu, Sleepy, Akihiron, Gaddock, those all would trigger Azuna, right? So when they Azuna, if you open Fusion and 3 names, you immediately go into Creation King and then you check their Lupus because Creation King can pop the Lupus. So you do have to wait for them to activate Lupus, but once because it's a quick effect on your turn. But once they activate Lupus, you just chain link Creation King, pop both of them, and they can't Xyz summon because Lupus is now banished too. So that's why I'm on 3. Another kind of, well, really a lot of this, a lot of the non-engine cards are 2-check versus K9. So Droplet's really good in the meta in general, and I think it's a really good card for Memento, especially going second. Like you can normal summon Witch, and then say they imperm, they do some kind of target negate. Well, I can Droplet and get it off the field and still get my draw. It also checks Lupus again. So like if I don't open Fusion and I can't get to King, but I open Droplet and I at least have one card to get rid of because I don't even need a monster because I can just wait for them to activate and just chain Droplet to it. As long as I have Droplet, I don't care if they Azuna and then go into Lupus because I'll just check it. Imperm can do the same thing. It's a much different nuance, right? Because you can't imperm if I like say a Tatsu. They can get Lupus out and use Lupus all before I can pop Tatsu, right? So I can't imperm it. But imperm works really well against Dracotel, especially Arthalion. So you can stop them from adding back from the graveyard with imperm on your turn. So that's one reason to run imperm. I mean, you can check like Holly Sue sometimes as long as they don't like Borger it back, but it's pretty decent. I like imperm right now in the meta. We have the one of Max C. I mean, you pretty much have to run Max C. It's one of the best cards in the game, if not the best card. I do have 3 Ash. I'm mostly running Ash to negate Max C, right? Or Perulia. We can play around Perulia and Foolos, but I'd much rather play around Foolos and just give 1 draw. Perulia, I'd probably have to give 2. There's lines where like depending on your hand, you can give 0. Like Bone Party can play completely around Perulia, but it's a little bit more dependent. I am running the 1 Engraver to just turbo into Wave King Caesar. So it's just 1 Engraver in the main deck. This is a brick, and I did choose to do this over Horned Dragon because even though it's a brick, I can get to 2 special summon negates, and Horned Dragon allows me to pop 2 face-ups on the field. I think Wave King Caesar, those 2 negates are much better. So it is a brick. If you draw it, it's just in your hand. I mean, I could discard it with Droplet or something. The only other thing is I kind of want to keep it in my hand if I can go through the Fiendsmith combo because Requiem only summons him from deck or hand. So if he goes to the graveyard, he's just kind of stuck there. I guess I could get into Requiem and then revive him with closed heaven, but then we're not getting a Caesar, right? Triple Tactics talent, I was running 2 Darkblade, and I decided to take 1 out for Triple Tactics talent. I'm also at 41. You could technically like remove this or maybe like a Perulia or a Fool Loss to get down to 40. I just think Triple Tactics talent's really good in the current meta because there's a really good chance that they're going to activate ability in the main step, especially if it's versus Canine again. And then I could take control of whatever they summon, or I can look at their hand, you know, or draw 2. Sometimes draw 2 really helps. Oh, I forgot field spell, Memento field spell. I got Called by the Grave. I think Called by the Grave's one of the strongest quick play spells. You can check Draco Tail. You know, they use Femina on your turn. Like, you go first, they use Femina to try to disrupt you. You just Call by the Grave, you win. Like that pretty much stops Draco Tail almost completely. Crossout is actually really decent, I think, in this deck because I've used Crossout to cross out Imperm more than I think anything else. It's usually Imperm or like Ash, and it'll allow me to keep going because like if I have Anguish and I don't have a way to dodge Imperm, I'll just cross it out. Screw it. You know, I don't necessarily need, like, I'm not going to be using Imperm that turn. So I already covered Droplet. I have 1 Grand Breakout. I was on 2 in a different version. I think Grand Breakout's really good, and I think it's decent at 1. The 2, I think Goblin is a really good starter, and you know, kind of an extender with Grand Breakout, or like Tatsu ditch them and revive with Witch or something. You could cut them. I wouldn't. This is so good if you have it, and it helps you if you draw nothing, like you draw Ash, Fool Loss, Max C, this, and Imperm. I can at least try by normal summoning like Fool Loss and then Goblin Grand Breakout. If they have the negate, they have the negate, right? But at least I could try to get to Memento. So it's kind of like 1 for 1 in that instance. I'm not running 1 for 1 anymore. I do think it's a good card, but it's a negative 2. And this just seems better because you can bait out like a disruption and kind of dodge around it. So that is the main deck. Now the extra deck is where we got a few things I want to go over. So Necro Equip is for the Fiendsmith. We can get the Fiendsmith stuff out of the way. So Necro Equip just allows you to get to Caesar with the very basic minimum 1 engraver package. Moon allows you just to get there, you know, to Requiem. So those are just to get Caesar out. 1 Twin Dragon, that's pretty standard. Dragostapelia, I still think this is a really good card. It doesn't come up a ton, right? But when it comes up, it saves you. I mean, that being able to just make sure their card no longer has an effect is pretty crazy, and because you can just get them out with Memento Fusion really easy. Guardian Chimera, I mean, this basically might be or should just be a Memento card at this point. It's so good with Memento Fusion on your opponent's turn. Pop 2 Creation King. I don't see a reason to run 3. I think 2 is a really good amount because you just, you know, you ditch 1 to get the field spell. But yeah, just one of the best cards in the deck. So this is where we go a little off script, right? So we got Ripper. You can make Ripper pretty easily with Akihiron and Tatsu. I would say this card is completely cuttable. I wouldn't say that you need to run this at all in this extra deck. I just think it's nice. Like, it's just a nice extra negate to have, right? Or like, let's say you already had Caesar out, they got rid of Caesar, and you need to like just get another hand trap negate or something, you can get Ripper out. I've gotten Ripper and Caesar, which is kind of nice because you can kind of save the Way of King Caesar negates for something else with Ripper, but it is cuttable. I'm not gonna hold you there because most of the time you're not gonna put Akihiron as a material for this, right? Because you're gonna try to pop Akihiron to get back your fusion or something that's banished. Typhon's just always good. You know, they somehow out your board. If you go first and they out your board, they're not, the chance that they kill you is really low. So then it's your turn and you draw a mace, normal summon mace, go Typhon. You can win from there sometimes. So I think it's really good. It is cuttable. Okay. But I really like having Typhon. It's just a good backup plan. Now this is where we get into the goo. Geninator. This card will out Lunalight and it will out Murakumo. And so it does that because this link card and monsters it points to cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. That's all you care about with this card. So this card cannot be destroyed and whatever it points to, because it's going to point to one of your cards and one of your opponent's cards. It has a second effect. I have not used the second effect once, but it could come up. If it points to 2 cards, you can actually switch control. So you could like summon out a goblin to the point it's pointing to and steal whatever their boss monster is. That will not work on Liger because Liger is unaffected. But the way it outs Liger, you summon this fast, right? Okay, so Liger can't kill it anymore. And then you get Combined Creation into the zone it points to. Now Combined Creation can't be destroyed by Liger either. And then you threaten lethal, Akiran allow you to attack directly with Combined Creation and King. So you threaten lethal that way. They have to Liger pop your Creation King, okay? Because it's the only one that'll die out of the 3. Like, let's just say you have Geninator, Combined Creation, Creation King on the field. So you have lethal. You go to damage step. You have lethal. You go to attack with Creation King. They pop Creation King with Liger. Well, what happens? Combined Creation activates to revive Creation King. So now you go to attack directly with Creation King again. Well, now they have to use their second Liger to pop the Creation King. Well, now what you do is you just crash the Geninator into the Liger and walk over both Ligers with Combined Creation. You won't OTK that turn, but Lunalight's not coming back from that. So you just won that. Murakumo, same way. When he gets summoned, destroys everything. Well, not destroying this and whenever it points to. So then that can save you. That can just continue your combo. Like you could summon Goblin there. They're not reading this or something. And then you can just pop Goblin and whatnot. Because again, it can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. You can still destroy the monsters at this points too. That are your monsters. So this card is a must in my opinion. I would not cut this for anything. The Dark Charmer. This card comes up, and when it does, I really like having it, but it is cuttable. You don't need this card. For the most part, what I do when I summon this is I'm gonna try to steal the opponent's Murakumo, and it's gonna force their prayers or something. And that's basically it. I'm just like, I need to force his prayers to continue, blah blah. That's about it. Or I just steal their Murakumo, and now I'm just gonna try to beat over him for game. Sky Striker, Azalea. This hasn't come up in a while, but the whole reason that you run this card is so that way Combined Creation can attack all their monsters for game. And this just clears 2 of your monsters, and you can pop like a back row or something with it too. SP Little Knight, because I mean you pretty much have to run SP Little Knight. This saves you so much. So many times this saves you. And then generally, and that's the deck there. Generally the inboard that I shoot for is just Way of King Caesar, Creation, Combined Creation, Field Spell, and then both spells. If I can get that, it's pretty much game. I mean, these 2 special summon negates are huge right now. Combined Creation will summon back Creation King, so then I have at least 1 pop. And then I'll get to Mace. I'll have a Change of Heart on the opponent's turn. And so what are we at? So that's 1, 2, 3. That's 4. That's 4 disruptions. I then have Bone Party to maybe do something else. It's not going to be a disruption though. And then I have Fusion. I can fuse into Dracostelia. That's 5 negates or 5 disruptions. Or I can go into Guardian Chimera. Now we're at 6 disruptions. So I think this is a really good deck. I did top with it. I went. Oh, what did I do? I only lost twice. With this deck. Now it can brick. There's one downfall to Memento again is like all these like soft bricks or hard bricks, right? Like Akiran's a hard brick. Come on, Creation's a hard brick. I added a hard brick in here, but I think that this deck right here does perform really well. Again, things that you could change. You could up the Dark Blade count. You could decrease the Charmies. I'd probably like go 2/2, maybe even like this, because I'd like to keep one Prulia. Really, if I draw it, that's great because it's gonna get me probably a draw at least. But then at least I have a cross out target because everyone's running this anyway, and most of the time it is more annoying to me than not. So you could do something like that. And then the extra deck, you could do something fun. You could add in like Elf or like Masquerena, right? And do something like that and like take out Ripper and the Charmer. You could even maybe take out Typhon, run something else too, but yeah, that's the deck profile. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. I'll try to answer them. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Peace.